What if I told you that everything that you're desperately chasing isn't actually what you truly want? Whether it's more money, the perfect job, dream body, recognition, none of it will truly fulfill you. I've spent 40 years figuring this out, and I'm going to save you decades of time, energy, and frustration in the next few minutes. Hi, I'm Laura, and I have a confession to make. For most of my life, I have felt deeply unfulfilled on the inside. On the outside, I've had everything I could possibly want and need. And so it's been very perplexing for me, like, how can I be dissatisfied when I have everything that I can want and need in life? Well, it has been quite the quest to try to figure out what is this little itch that I can't seem to satisfy. And I have finally arrived at some answers. Now, in my 48th year of life, I can finally say that I am deeply fulfilled. It feels amazing. And it's because I've discovered a few things, specifically 3 things that I want to share with you today. It all comes down to what's on these cards. I'm going to share with you what's on these cards in just a minute. These are connected to a true story about a celebrity that I met years ago by accident. She said something that shook me to my core and reveals the first truth about fulfillment. So here's the story. Okay, here's the story. Many years ago, I was in a mindful self-compassion class in Los Angeles. It's a small, intimate group, maybe like 10, 15 people. And during a break, a woman in her late 60s sits down next to me. We start talking. And then she asks me at some point if I have children. And I said, I do. She said, wonderful. I will bring them a book next week. I was like, oh, thank you. That's so nice of you. Next week, she shows up to class with a very well-known children's story. I was like, oh, I love this book. Thank you so much. And then she says, of course, I signed the book for your children. And I was like, oh, wait, you're the author of this book? And she's like, I am. As soon as class began, she was getting something out of her bag, and then a whole bunch of cards came out. They were just kind of clumped out. And she seemed kind of embarrassed that I could see what was on the cards. I could read what was on the cards. And she kind of gathered them up quickly, like put them away. And then she just, I guess, wanted to explain. So she said, hey, I have to carry these cards with me all the time, every day, to remind myself. I was like, oh, okay. And she said, there was a girl, 3rd grade, Sally. She was awful. She said so many horrible things to me all the time. She treated me so badly, said so many terrible things. And for some reason, I haven't been able to get over this. And it's been like 60 years. I was like, wow. And then the next thing she says to me just completely blew me away. And she leans in and she's like, I am proof that you can have all the success in the world and still hate yourself. And I was like, wow, that's very powerful. I'll show you what she wrote in her cards. The thing is, this is what happens, right? The world tells us, once you're successful, then you'll be happy. And the truth is, time and time again, we hear stories like these where people who have reached high levels of success are not necessarily deeply fulfilled. And then we hear the tragic stories of celebrities, rich and famous people who have everything on the outside, but inside they're struggling and battling their own pain, so much so that sometimes they take their own lives. These stories point to something profound about fulfillment, which is that it does not come from the outside. And so where does true fulfillment come from? Well, that's insight number 1. True fulfillment comes from who we become along the journey of life, specifically the journey of becoming our most authentic selves. The way I see it, life is an epic adventure, and you and I are the heroes of our own story. So we go through a lot in life, right? We go through a whole lot. The thing is, we are well equipped for this ride. There's an inner warrior inside that helps us get through everything. And so the mission, as I understand it, is to discover who we truly are inside and become that fully, freely, and completely out into the world. It takes great courage to do that. As a wise man once said, to be oneself in a world that is constantly seeking to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. And it does take great courage to become our most authentic selves, but the rewards and the benefits completely outweigh the discomfort of the process. That brings us to insight number 2, the purpose of pain. Okay, let's talk about pain. None of us can escape the pain of the human experience, right? It's inevitable. Pain is a part of life, and it does have a purpose because pain can guide us to the places within ourselves that need our own tender, loving care. And so it's okay to befriend our pain, to be curious about it, and to do the healing work. Because as we do the healing work, we progress along the journey of becoming our most authentic selves. And that includes fulfilling our purpose for being here. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, fulfilling my purpose has been the driving force of my life ever since I was a little girl. I always knew that I was here for a reason, that my life had purpose, and it became this kind of existential quest and angst to figure it out. Like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to help? And so it's been the biggest driving force of my life, and also the biggest source of my discontent. Because no matter how much I tried to figure it out and find my purpose, I could never quite arrive at it. So I've discovered a few things about purpose that really contribute to my fulfillment, and I want to share those with you in just a minute. But here's how I see it. You and I are like stars in the sky, and like stars in the sky, we occupy a very special and unique place in the universe. Nobody can do what you do the way you do it. Nobody can do what I do the way I do it, right? We have a special and unique role to play here on the planet. We're here for a reason. There's a purpose as to why you're here, why I'm here. And part of the journey of life is to discover what that is, to discover what it is, to let it unfold over time, and then to become that fully into the world. And as one of my favorite teachers says, it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. He says, your birth is proof that your purpose is necessary. When I first heard that, it really just reached my heart so deeply. This is so beautiful, isn't it, to think about that? Like, we're needed, you're needed, I'm needed, we're here. There's a reason why we're here. And this brings us to the third and most important insight. And I'm going to be wrapping up now what I've learned in 40 years. Let's go back to the story about the famous author, and I can finally show you what she has on her cards. It all comes down to this. So here it is. And so this beautiful and brilliant woman who's given such a gift to humanity with her creative contributions, blessing children's lives for decades, she herself was struggling with self-hatred for most of her life, desperately seeking to fulfill a void deep inside that could not be fulfilled with her money, fame, or recognition. She was seeking something deeper. She was looking for the truth, and she found it. It's what was on her cards. So let me show you what she had on her cards. Lots and lots of love. Loving, kind words towards herself, positive self-affirmations, affirming the truth of her being every single day, reminding herself of the truth of her. And the truth of her and you and me is that at the core we are love, and we come from divine love. All of us come from the same source of divine love, and we are profoundly loved. And because we come from love, we long for love. And oftentimes we think that love comes from outside of us, until we learn that the love we've been seeking has been within us all along. Self-love and appreciation is the ultimate superpower. Self-love and our connection to God is the ultimate source of our fulfillment. And as we love ourselves deeply and completely, we're able to love one another unconditionally. And it's that combination, self-love and the love we share with each other, where our greatest peace, joy, and fulfillment lives. It is the love within us and between us that sets us free. And my greatest discovery is that we all share the same purpose, which is to be love, fully, freely, and completely in the world, in our own unique and special ways. Because as we radiate the energy of love, love finds its way to us. And then we get to grow in divine love together. And as we do that, the world becomes a more loving place. Much love and many blessings to you.